Hello, puzzle fans. Fenton here. I've got Filament. It's been on my Steam watch list for some time, and then it came out the other week, quite some time ago, in fact. Today is May the 11th, and it came out on April the 23rd, and I kind of didn't notice, despite having been keeping an eye on it. So I bought it, and I played the whole freaking thing. 42 hours, 45 minutes. It's flipping great to the point, but it's not a stream game, at least not for me. It's not a blind playthrough game. It's hard. It is hard to the point where I don't. If I did a video if I did a blind playthrough, wouldn't be very exciting. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you it really with all of my knowledge of how the game works. Filament. It's really good.
Approaching vessel. Signature indicates it's a Filament Corporation vessel. No crew detected. Caution advised. Minimum distance of 200 nautical miles recommended. Rerouting trajectory. Approaching vessel. Docking request pending. Override acknowledged. Please click all the images containing an asteroid. Docking procedure initialized.
It's good.
2.
I'm gushing a bit here, but it is genuinely
Complete.
very interesting,
Welcome to your destination.
and the puzzles are good, the story is good, the presentation is good, the graphics are good. Like, I have no complaints. I honestly don't have any complaints. If anything, it's too difficult. There's some stuff. I'll talk about that when we get to it. The main gist, every single puzzle, and take a drink every time you notice a similarity with The Witness, by the way. Every single puzzle has the basic mechanic of you have this robot, and the robot leaves a white filament behind you. Do you get it? And to get out, you have to go from the start and turn on the pillars. Once you've turned on all the pillars, you can leave. The door opens. You know that you're done. This, on its own, is interesting, because there's no rules that say you can't touch a pillar twice. In the basic rule set, at least. You can't obviously recross your filament. I'm going to click this. I'm using a controller. It's got full controller support. I've had no problems with that at all. There is a button on the controller. It's clicking the left analog stick down that makes your robot move much faster, which I approve of. You can't cross your filament. There's immediately, I've just said that there's no bugs, and there's a bug here in which this door is open even though I've not turned on all of the pillars. That's quite funny. I don't think you can redo these puzzles. That's quite funny. I'll let them know that. I'm going to let them know that on the Discord. Let me just take a quick screenshot. There we go. Let's... Okay. Alright, I'll hold left trigger to focus. So then, the way the puzzles are built, so you've got this pillar here, right, where there's this solid wall on the end, which means that there's no actual way to touch the pillar unless you wrap around 3/4 of the pillar. Like this. What I describe in my mind is 3/4, even though it looks like that. Either way, you get out there like that.
Hello? Someone there?
Is someone there?
Well, would you look at that? An intruder. You're a little more disheveled than your traditional knight in shining armor. I was hoping to be saved by someone without mustard stains on their dungarees, for one. But as you might be my only ticket off this vessel, I'll make do. I've been trapped in this cockpit for a few weeks now, and this is the first time anything on this damn console is perked up. Whatever you did to those anchors on your way in, it's seem to help. Mind taking a look at that one over by the wall? Please and
Would you kindly do the puzzle by the wall? No. So at the bottom there you can see that there's 5 icons, and so that means that there's 5 puzzles in this puzzle set. And let's just quickly bust them out. Like, the key really is knowing when you've made a mistake that means that you can't then solve the puzzle, and from there you can make logical deductions as to what you then have to do. So like, if I do this, I know that I can't then touch that bottom left one. Like, there's no way to touch it at least and get out because I can't cross the filament. And internalizing that kind of stuff really is the only way you're going to make any progress here. If you just... The problem almost with the first few levels is that you can kind of just hit the pillars in some semblance of an order that they're presented to you in, for the most part. I've also got to be able to get out, which is interesting. That's hilarious that I've already managed to confuse myself quite greatly here. This is probably not relevant right now. Oh, God! My mind! There we go. Sorry, I was overcomplicating it by trying to think about things to say. Oh, I can't... Okay, scratch everything I just said to you about how the first few puzzles are easy, because they're clearly not. How did I do this? Yeah, that's right. You're looking at a man who's got like almost 50 hours in this game. How have I managed to balls that up so brilliantly? That's what that's for. And then you just have to do it the other way around. Or something. And then you use this to turn around. That's the other thing with those, is that sometimes they're there to make you do a 180 in such a way that means that you can wrap your filament around a pillar in a way that you otherwise wouldn't be able to. So like, I can't obviously touch this unless I go left, so this lets me go left but also turn around successfully. Where's the door? It's over there. If the door's over there, then I can probably just get this one straight away. Well, no, I'm not at quite the right angle for that one, am I? Maybe that's what this is for. Except I'm now not going to get out. Oh, this is not how I wanted this video to be. I wanted the video to... Yeah, I'm still not going to get out. It's close. Let's just start again, shall we? Oh, I'm pressing R2, or right trigger if you're using an Xbox controller, to rewind, which is a nice little touch. I have noticed a small bug in that sometimes it rewinds you in such a way that you then get stuck. It will like clip your robot into the pillar, or it will clip the filament into the pillar. I noticed that maybe once, possibly twice, in 40 hours, and most of that 40 hours was spent rewinding, so, you know, I obviously need to turn around here, but if I do it in that way, then the filament blocks me off, so, and there's no point in just turning around now, but I can turn this one on, but if I turn this one on, then I can't then touch this one unless I turn around here. And so then I use this to do this instead, just to get the filament out of the way, and then I turn around here, and then I squeeze through there like that. Then I turn that one on, and then I touch this one. There we go. It's just the right mix of logic and trial and error, I think. Like, it's... If you stood here and stared at it for long enough, you would be able to work it out and do it in one go. If you just planned it out in your mind. But why would you plan it out in your mind when you can plan it out in the video game? And you just... It's sort of that ideal, really, of the puzzle game, in that the game lets you articulate your mental process quickly and easily enough in the game that you don't need to get a pen and paper out to work it out, because the game is your pen and paper, you know? Like, you go, alright, what if I try this, this, and this? And then you're sort of, that's what your brain is doing anyway. Oh, I'll try doing it like this, and then I'll try doing it like this. Ah, I'm not going to get that one now, am I? I'm also not going to get it if I do this, but I will get it if I do this. Did anything of what I just said made sense there, right? Like,
looks to me like you shut it down entirely, which makes a lot of sense.
It's not a purely logic game in that one move must lead to a next move, which must lead to a next move. It's sort of enough almost creativity.
On the bright side, I do now appear to have full access to the annex you're standing in. Now, I know
Is that how you spell annex?
considering we just met and
I don't know the first thing about spelling words.
I might have a real chance at getting out of here alive. What do you say? Oh, let me grab those doors for you.
Well, apparently there's an E on the end of annex. We learnt something today. Annex or annexee. Annex with an E, in British English, annex is a noun meaning an addition to a building. Annex is the verb. Oh, I see. You annex a room. You annex the annex. Okay, right, good. Sorry for that brief tangent. Also, the game's very funny in very subtle ways, which is kind of how I roll. For example, this advert on the back about winning beans. Do you like beans? Of course you like beans. We have, if anything, too many beans. We suggest that after entering our raffle, you begin preparing adequate storage for too many beans. Now, you walk into this room, and the first thing you notice is, whoa, what is this? And that's right, you are correct to notice that, well done. There's nothing you can really do with that information right now, until you notice the little computer terminals that you can access here, in which you get a nice 1983 interface. And oh look, there's those 4x4 grid thing. And what was that? What was it? No, it wasn't that, was it? Oh god, what was it? My mind. It was something like that. So anyway, you would either take a screenshot of that or just memorize it or write it down or whatever. It was... Oh, it was just all the way around the left and then the top. Yeah, okay. Okay, fair enough. There we go. Archive added to removable storage. And suddenly, you're in this rabbit hole of meta puzzles. You know? And then you start noticing them everywhere. You would go into this room and you'd be like, oh, what's that on the floor? And, you know, you would go into this room and be like, oh, what's that on the floor? Or... And then you start finding them, like, everywhere. Like, you're looking at stuff and you're not sure, is this a meta puzzle or not? And you might spend, like, half an hour with some pen and some paper going, is this, you know, like... And then, you start to notice this symbol up here, the light bulbs, the filament light bulb symbol, which indicates to you that there might be a meta puzzle in the room, or there definitely is a meta puzzle in the room, I should say. And then you're looking at things for, like, oh, what could the puzzle possibly be, you know, like... And all the while you're doing that, you're then also... We've got free reign of the ship now, by the way. We can just tackle any of the puzzle sets. And each separate section of anchors is a different puzzle set. Like, you have to start at the start here, so this one is lit up. We can't access this one until we get here, but if we access this one here, we can see we've got a colour-based puzzle. So this one makes our filament orange, then we touch this one, and we're done. And you're like, right, okay, so I guess you have to make the colours touch in pairs. And you're like, oh, okay, yeah, fine. And then you're like, oh, okay, so then it's teaching you another little rule, because obviously this one's orange, and then if you do this, your filament's white, and the white one doesn't turn the orange pillar on. So maybe if you make it orange, then you can turn the orange one on, and then yeah, then you're alright, then you can go back to being white, and then you're done. And then, oh Christ alive, what's this all about? This one's teaching you that. So if you touch an orange pillar when you're blue, it breaks your filament, and you have no power. You can't solve the puzzle. But that's not true the other way around. If the pillar is part of the on and off sequence like this, it will break it. But just a normal pillar that needs power, a blue one, it's fine. So you can go orange to orange, and then because that one orange one is already powered up, it's fine. It won't break your filament because it's already doing what it needs to do. It's not an illegal maneuver.
My name's Juniper, by the way. I get the feeling you aren't going to tell me yours, so I may just have to give you one. Filament Corp protocol is to allocate every loyal operative a color-based codename. Unfortunately, no one told you that you should just pick one color and stick with it. Honestly, what I'm seeing is a little bit of a mess, so I might need to take a different approach to naming you. Red and blue are heroic, and you are my hero. But those are taken, and with all due respect, you've got nothing on Vermilion and yours truly. When I was a kid, I used to love this book. I would read it over and over again. The main character was Pluto, a socially inept bear with a can-do attitude. He tried his best. So, that's what I'm gonna call you. Pluto. Yeah, I like it.
The ship's pretty big. Let's try another different set of puzzles in this room. What have we got here? Gates. You have to run your filament through the gates. This one has got 2 lights on it, so you have to run it through twice. Simple enough, right? Oh no, okay, well, it's just as a 1. Oh, it has to be exactly 1. Oh no, right, okay. Fair enough. I've learned that now. Oh no, your filament can't touch the edges of the gate either. Oh no. Oh no, like that's a genuine oh no. Now I'm actually confused. Aha. Your brain I say very quickly. It does eventually start to think in terms of knots, and if you love knot theory, by the way, this game. I'm not even going to try and do this one, you know, that's it, that's the puzzle, there you go, that's the kind of stuff we're talking about here. That's the end of the tutorial ones of those, just to give you an idea of quite how much harder they get. There's stuff on the ground as well, stuff like this, and there is stuff like, let me see if I can find one. Not that one. I'll try and find one that is self-contained and not... here we go. Here's a good one. This is a very good one to show you, in fact, because it's actually really easy as well. So this is a puzzle in and of itself. Arnold's the planet that you're circling. That's what they named the planet that you're circling anyway. The crew of the ship. Not too many story spoilers. I'm sure anyone who's been paying enough attention will realise how to solve this puzzle. But you have to then take that knowledge and go to one of the archive computers, obviously. There is another subtype of puzzle as well. I'm getting some frame stuttering a bit here. Don't know if you're seeing that. Sorry. That's the first time I've noticed that, honestly. Here we go, here's one. So this one is an inventory item, and these are mostly the same, except they're complicated enough that you need to be able to you need to reference them while you're doing the puzzle, because, you know, they're not a simple environmental puzzle that you can just take a photo of and, well, I guess they kind of are in that regard. I'm trying to find a computer terminal now. Here's one. And these go into your Wayfarer's cards over here. And that's it. That's the puzzle. That has the information that you need to do a combination of these to solve the puzzle, which gets you some stuff. That other card we picked up goes into your archives, and these are just very simple. Like, these are just instructions. It's not a puzzle. Like, you just do that. And these are just text logs for reading the story. So you can see the email communications between people and what's going on, and they're in crew name or crew order and week order, so you can piece together the timeline of what happened in the game and so on. Here's another one. This one was an absolute flipping nightmare, I tell you. Absolutely mind-melting madness here, but also very satisfying. Once I got it, it was like, oh, that's so clever. So there are a whole bunch of puzzle sets, all with different rules. Doing that, you have to do a certain number of them. That gives you access to the bridge. In the bridge, there are the super difficult puzzle sets, which often incorporate combinations of rules, 2-3 rules at a time. So there might be the gates one along with the colour pairs one that we saw, or there'll be one and done puzzles that have got a cool mechanic that don't warrant a whole puzzle set. For example, there's one where there's a rising pillar in the middle of the room, and you have to extend your filament around the room long enough to rise the pillar up. So you have to sort of like make the longest filament you can, but it can't be too long. Like, it has to be a sweet spot. So that one was really cool. And that's just an example off the top of my head. It's very good. It's a very good game. I got my pen and paper out for it because there's a whole bunch of puzzle solving that needs pen and paper for, basically, because you need to write stuff down and make notes, and it's very good. It's very, very good. And, you know, comparisons to The Witness, I'm sure probably the devs probably sick of hearing it, but it is there. Like, you can't deny it. It's the same structure. Do the puzzles in any order you want. Do the tutorial ones first. Do a set number of those. That takes you into the mountain, which gives you the extra hard puzzles, which gives you the ending. You know, like, I mean, that's obviously, The Witness wasn't the first video game to do that. But as far as puzzle games go, and with the added meta puzzle layer on top, and then the even deeper secrets behind that. But that's not a criticism. That's not a criticism at all. Like, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, right? This is a puzzle. Those packets of crisps. There you go. Enjoy that. Enjoy solving that one. The game's very good. The game is very good, and it's like, what was it, £16 on Steam, $15.99, and I played it for 50 hours, and, you know, there's colourblind mode if you're concerned about that. I don't actually know what instant puzzle focus does. Instant puzzle focus. I assume that's something to do with when you are in a puzzle and... Oh, instant puzzle focus. So instead of zooming, I see, right. Instead of transitioning into that, it does this, which I actually don't like, but I guess if you get motion sickness, then that might be your kind of thing. What's this? Oh, this is another basic, almost basic set, but has these door things going on, which are powered by the connections. There we go. What were the other options, sorry. Subtitle language, subtitle size, subtitles on or off, borderless lighting quality, VSync. I haven't got a very good monitor, sorry, I'm only running at 60. I'm only running at 60. There's no point in really having that on, is there? 60Hz monitor. Key bindings. I have no complaints. I honestly have no complaints. It's everything I would want in a puzzle game. It is easy to approach, but gets very difficult. There's lots of optional challenges to do. I didn't mean to exit out of that so quickly, but I have now. The story is good. You know, if I had to complain, maybe this guy could walk a bit faster. Maybe the map could be... But even then, right, like... The map's got everything you want on it. Each orange square is a anchor puzzle set. Each blue square is a environmental puzzle, probably, mostly. Each teal square is a collectible to pick up. So, like, the game's pretty good at letting you know what you've done, what you've not done. It's great. It's honestly very, very good. And unless something absolutely incredible turns up by the end of the year, it's going to be my puzzle game of the year, hands down. Hands down. I'm calling it now. So yeah, there we go. Filament. It's great, as I've established. What else? What else? I finished Mars Power Industries. Finished all of that. It didn't take me a huge amount of time, but then it's not supposed to be a very large game. Didn't really get much harder than what happened on screen, to be honest. If anything, it got a little bit easier because it added extra rules that kind of meant that it was a bit more obvious what couldn't happen. But go back to that video, I suppose, if you're interested. That's it. That's it. Mars Power Industries was the last puzzle game I played. There's a lot of interesting puzzle games coming out on the Switch at the moment. I did borrow my brother's Switch capture card, but I haven't actually tested it out or anything. So I might do that. Let me know if that's something you might be interested in. If you've got any knowledge of Switch-only puzzle games. Otherwise, I'll just do it on Steam, obviously. Well, I know there's the Epic Games Store. There's, what is there? Manifold Garden looks quite good. That's the only one I can think of off the top of my head that's Epic exclusive at the moment. Yeah. Okay. Well, there we go. We're coming up to about half an hour now, so I suppose better wrap this up. It's Filament. It's by Beard Envy Games, isn't it? Isn't it? Yes. And it is on Steam right now. It's $14.99, or it's $16.99 if you want it with the soundtrack. Which I'm sure you can imagine. It's got 81 on Metacritic because people are idiots. That's obviously not true, but I've clicked through to this now. I want to see what people say. Oh, it's only got 9 reviews, that's fine. 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 83 out of 100. Gaming Trend gave it 7 out of 10, which is still a good score, but don't really understand. The variety of puzzle types in Filament is more than I expected. They start off easy with one robot trying to power white pillars, but become beasts of their own later on. What does that even mean? Okay, the person's main complaint is that the puzzles seem to be too hard. I'm not sure if I would have ever solved many of those without spending hours upon hours thinking them through. Don't get me wrong, I love a good challenge, but there have to be limits. At the very least, I think some type of hint function would be useful. Oh, contentious. What a contentious point. A hint system. I want to get on my high horse here and say, maybe you should just be smarter. That's me smoking a pipe, that noise, by the way. I've done them all, and I think I looked up hints for 1.5 of the puzzles, of the like 300 plus puzzles, because I genuinely was like super stuck. And what I think I did was I went to a YouTube walkthrough and found the puzzle that I was stuck on and looked at maybe the first 2 pillars in the sequence, which, yes, to be fair, you could implement that into the game, I suppose. You could implement that into the game and say, every puzzle has one known solution that the devs know about, and that solution starts with this pillar. I suppose, yes, that is a valid point. That would I have used that system more than the 1.5 or twice times I did if it was as easy as that? That's a different question for another time, because there are a lot of puzzles that I just looked at and went, holy Christ. But I did them, and I did them from nothing. I worked them out. Is that because I'm a blessed, gifted individual? Perhaps. If I saw that puzzle and went, right, just show me the first pillar right now. If there was just a button that went, just show me the first pillar right now, because I'm not even going to begin to try and solve this one without some help, would I have pressed that button? Maybe, because it's just pressing a button, right? You know, each to their own, I guess, each to their own. I got hints because I knew that there was no way I was going to solve this puzzle without a hint. I'd gotten to that point where I'd maybe been looking at it for half an hour and just trying things to try and just even to be like, I don't even know how this is possible. And I looked at a hint because I was genuinely stuck. I just wasn't going to be able to do it. And both of those were in the end game. So, you know, that's also fair enough, I suppose. But I think in the end game, you don't even have to do all of the puzzles. You don't have to do all of the puzzles to get to the bridge. And then I don't think on the bridge you have to do all of the puzzles to get to the end. So, you know, there's also that. Right, I said I was going to end the video and I didn't. I've been waffling on. I'm just going to end it. Right, thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay indoors, regardless of what any Tory toffs tell you. And I will see you next time. Goodbye. Filament is good. 10 out of 10. Not literally, but, you know, essentially 9 point something out of 10. Bye-bye.